Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 5, AFC Barrow 0. I don't know why, but I think when it comes to like aesthetically announcing a 6 things we learned video, having 5 goals sometimes better than 6 because it's just like, it's just there, isn't it? Chelsea have done it again, guys. We have gone out there and emphatically blown away our opposition. This is another big win. It is a 3rd clean sheet in a row post-international break. I'm going to be asking for England to play again soon at this rate because international breaks, we're liking it under Enzo Maresca. It's a first domestic win at Stamford Bridge for Maresca as our manager. We've obviously had a great run of wins away from home, but to be getting that win, scoring 5 goals at Stamford Bridge, 11 changes to the starting 11. Of course, we're going to go through absolutely everything. I'm sorry that I wasn't live, by the way, last night for the game. I was supposed to be doing a watch-along. 6 things we learned should have been out straight after the game. I had food poisoning. I have literally been on a flipping drip this morning to get some nutrients back into my body. But even though I was watching the game on my phone in the bathroom, I was very pleased with what I saw. Chelsea, they looked as though we wanted to go out there last night and prove a point. Maresca's obviously said, and post-match we found out some wonderful words from our manager, talking about, yeah, we're young, but we're here to compete. We're here to challenge. We're here to win. And I think Chelsea last night, they didn't look at Barrow and think, well, let's just take it easy. Let's experiment a little bit. I think what we saw from that Chelsea performance last night was very much a display which categorises and lots of characteristics of what Maresca is trying to get us to do. Playing out from the back quickly, not holding on to the ball for too long, progressing it forward, and being confident to take one touch and distribute. Being confident in your teammate to be in the right position so that when you've taken that first touch and you distribute it, someone is there to receive it in the right place. Chelsea were dominant in possession and out of possession. And before we start going through the goals, because there's 5 of them to talk about today, let's say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. So as you guys can see, I've got myself a decent head of hair again. We had a skinhead phase. I thought I've had enough of this one. And luckily for me, when I wanted my hair back, it grew back. And I know that that isn't always going to be the case for each and every one of us. And that is why I have partnered with Manual. We have got the all-in-one treatment and we have got an absolutely magnificent discount for those of you that want to get yourselves involved. There's a link in the description and use the discount code Benson55 to make sure that you get your hands on the product. There's also a wonderful shampoo that smells delicious, good for your hair. Mine is growing super fast right now, but if for whatever reason hair loss starts to become an issue or a concern for you, then make sure you use that link that we've got here on GBFC and use the discount code Benson55 for 55% off your order. Comes in a lovely box. You guys are going to love it. Christmas came early and your hair comes back too. Let's get back to the video. Thank you to Manual for sponsoring this one. And we're back. Chelsea started off the game in perfect fashion. Whenever it's a match against lower league opposition, the longer they can stay in the game without conceding a goal, or if they score, then confidence really builds. But the longer that Barrow could have gone without conceding, their confidence would have grown. Frustration would have started to be present around Stamford Bridge. And based on what we've seen from Chelsea players at Stamford Bridge in the last couple of years, when the crowd start to get a bit frustrated, because we're young, we start to panic. Because we're young and we haven't had, let's say, the answers before, it becomes a difficult place for us to play. But Christopher Nkunku ensured after 8 minutes, thanks to an absolutely delectable pass, chipped over the top of 2 defenders, and Nkunku volleys it in. Joao Felix with a beautiful assist. What I liked about this goal isn't just the deft touch from Felix over the top and then the exquisite finish from Christopher Nkunku. It's the build-up. And something that was absolutely on show here from Chelsea across the entire 90 minutes was getting the ball out of our feet quickly. Something that we have seen too often. And I think when you look back to last year, Chelsea would be dominant in possession, but were we dominating in possession? You can have a lot of the ball and do absolutely nothing with it, or you can have a lot of the ball and actually be potent and be poignant with it in the final third and just everywhere across the pitch. Maresca doesn't want these Chelsea players to have control of the ball and not distribute it quickly. And we saw at the start of this game, we wanted to run Barrow ragged. We wanted to make sure that there wasn't any elements, oh, it's a cup tie. This is their biggest day out of the season. They're top of the league in League 2. Let them come and play with confidence, but no. Chelsea let the quality shine. Goal number 2 is also a fantastic finish from Nkunku. It's actually beyond a fantastic finish, to be fair. It doesn't matter what your opposition is. To have the audacity at the near post to try this little flick to the far side of the goal past the goalkeeper is magnificent. Malo Gusto back in the side. He's fit again. A lot of people were saying, like, is there much point in starting Gusto for this game? Give Achampong a start. I think Maresca dealt with it perfectly. I think you give Gusto a start when everyone else around him is obviously still trying to find their feet in the match too. He's obviously fit enough. He played. He didn't look like he was puffing. We were in control of possession. Get the job done. Take him off. Then bring the youngsters on. When it's more about we've already won and let's just see the game out and enjoy ourselves out there on the pitch. If we score 5, 6, 7, 8, it doesn't matter because we're already through. So Gusto starts and it's a great assist. Lovely back heel from Neto. Puts it into Gusto's path and Nkunku makes it 2. The third goal, I feel for Joao Felix here because this is a brilliant free kick. The keeper gets down, it hits the post, comes off the back of the goalkeeper. So the history books will say that it's an own goal, but I'm absolutely giving it to Joao Felix in my head. Goal number 4, Pedro Neto scoring his first Chelsea goal. Mykhailo Mudryk with an assist. We're going to talk about these players a little bit later on in this video. But it's a great finish from Neto, 4-0, and then Nkunku makes it 5 with the hat-trick goal, and it's an awful mistake. At this point, I think Barrow were pretty much aware that they weren't really offering much going forward. The game was pretty much done. The keeper's faffing around with it at the back. Nkunku steals it off of him. Look how sharp Christopher Nkunku is in that position. Sees the goalkeeper taking too much time, and he's just clinical. Christopher Nkunku is too good to be playing on the bench for Chelsea. He's box number 1, and he is the obvious blue box for this 5-0 Chelsea win. To score a hat-trick is massive. And when you look at the stats that we've seen here from Nkunku, that is his 6th goal now under Maresca, 9 if you include the goals that we saw in America during pre-season. And yet still, he cannot get into the starting 11. And at this point in time, these are the kind of issues that Chelsea have been crying out for. Imagine at the start of last season, if someone would have said to you, yeah, well, you got too many players that are scoring and getting assists at the moment that not all of your scorers can play. Chelsea have literally got so much depth in the attack that it's mind-blowing. And the fact that at the start of this video here, we're going to talk about all 4 of these attackers in this 6 Things We Learned video. You make 4 changes up front from the weekend, and every single one of the players who comes in delivers. And yes, I'm not going to get too carried away. I know it's Barrow, but at the end of the day, you can only beat what is put in front of you. And it's the way that we were passing through them. It was the speed and the electricity in which we were carving through every single time we got the ball in the final third. Christopher Nkunku, man, honestly, the man is just too good to not be starting games. He's too good, but right now, like, you can't take Jackson out of this team. He's got 4 goals, 2 assists so far this season. He's on fire. Cole Palmer is the most talented, best player at Chelsea Football Club. You can't see him coming out. Sancho, 2 assists in 2 games. The questions will be, well, is it going to be Neto and Mudryk that miss out and we see Nkunku go over on the right? I don't know what it is. Maybe Nkunku plays behind Jackson. Palmer moves over to the right, but then you don't get Palmer at his best as the number 10. But I would actually like to see Jackson up top, Nkunku just behind him, where he is at his best, with Palmer on the right and Sancho on the left. I would love to see it. Moving in to box number 2, Joao Felix. He was trying really hard last night, I think. I think it's one of them where it's a balance between all of the players that got a run out last night. They can see already from the early phases of this season, despite having such a stacked squad, that there is a bit of continuity behind what Maresca sees as being the first team. So when Joao Felix comes in, it's a beautiful first assist. And there's some times when you look at him and you're just like, if only you had that extra bit of a rugged side without diving in for tackles and getting sent off like we saw at Fulham. in his first stint at Chelsea. You want that bit of class that he's clearly got with more output, with a bit more like meaningful determination, I think, in the final third. And we had that last night. He was trying to make things happen. Beautiful deft flick. The free kick, I'm giving it to him. It's a beautiful free kick. And Joao Felix, I think, was impressive. I think as much as it won't show on the stats that he scored, I think he did very well. As did Mykhailo Mudryk. Box number 3. This was such a big game for Mudryk because the golfing class between pretty much all of the preseason opponents, the teams that we've played so far this season, and Barrow, no disrespect, like they fought hard, but like if Mudryk didn't perform against Barrow, then he's never going to perform. And I think a lot of people, myself included, looked at him starting and was like, well, yeah, you've got to show up here. Yes, they're top of League 2, but they're in League 2. There's 60 places between Chelsea and Barrow in the Football League pyramid in England. But Mudryk was great. I think the little passes, he could have had a couple more assists than he got. I think he looked sharp. I think he wasn't. And again, this is important. And I think it's the same with Felix. When you know that you're not going to start at the weekend because you're right at the bottom of the pecking order now, it would be very easy to overdo it, to try and take everybody on, try and shoot at every given opportunity because you're playing against the weak side to boost your stats up. But what we saw here from Mudryk was a professional performance. It was calm, it was composed, it was for the team, and I thought he was really good. I was really impressed with what I saw, as was I with Pedro Neto. What we saw in this game here, and again, I'm not trying to get too carried away, but when you've got 4 players that are your regular Premier League starters, you substitute all of them out and you score 5 goals. Like, I'm sorry, but it is time to be flipping excited about this team, Chelsea fans and fans of this channel, because Neto was the main guy. I thought when we spent 60-odd million on him in the summer, when Sancho first joined, I didn't expect him to be straight in the starting 11, playing the way that he did against Bournemouth, getting an assist in match week number 2 that he plays as well. And Neto to score his first goal, and just to see yesterday again, that speed, that sharpness, that clinical nature in front of goal, I thought Neto was fantastic. I think there was such a big gulf between these two sides yesterday. But to see all 4 of those players that aren't going to be regular starters every single match, to see these guys playing like that is getting me very exciting indeed for the rest of this season. Moving into box number 5, I think it was a very good performance yesterday from Casadei. I think he controlled the tempo of the game. I think in the first couple of minutes he was a little bit erratic. He was giving the ball away slightly, but he grew into his own. I think the touches were there. I think if you look at the way that he plays with his back to goal and looking forward as well, very intelligent footballer, Casadei. Looked comfortable receiving the ball with players around him, looked comfortable receiving and turning, first time passes to the left and the right. I thought he was absolutely excellent. And as much as I still think Carney Chukwuemeka is a better player than Casadei, and I do find it a bit baffling that maybe Casadei played over Chukwuemeka, I think it is a sign moving forward here under Maresca. If we've really learned something here, it's that Maresca sees Casadei as a more defensive option if, for whatever reason, heaven forbid, something happens longer term to Lavia, Caicedo and Enzo. So, box number 6, ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely delighted with the start that we have made here under our new manager, Enzo Maresca. I think the team yesterday was good. The way that we're playing is good. I think the fact that he has been so vocal about making sure that we show everybody that we're serious. I'm loving this. Like, the press conferences are getting better. The results are unbelievable. The football is delightful. Guys, this has been a fantastic start to the season. This is a massive win. I apologise if my energy's a bit off. It was honestly one of the worst food poisonings I've ever had. I'm still not great, but the drip has given me enough energy to get this recorded, and get this out for you this afternoon. Massive thank you to Manual for sponsoring this episode of 6 Things We Learned. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Come on, you Blues.